Us presento a l'Ivan Bofarull, que és un orador freqüent sobre la innovació i el futur de l'educació, i avui ens parlarà sobre why moonshot thinking is your next big skill.
Yeah? How are you doing tonight? Dante? Galileo? Eva? Why don't you come on stage? Come on, please. We are just, you know what? We are just breaking the rules of TEDx, okay? So please be compassionate with us, right? This is Dante. This is our 6-year-old, and this is Galileo. Yeah, 5, yeah, but you're about to be 6. And this is Galileo, this is our 6-month-old. And Eva, my wife, my inspiration, okay? So I want to tell you something, right? For the first time in the last couple of centuries, we have no idea about which is the type of jobs that these guys are going to find when they are getting out of school or out of college in 20, 15, or 25 years from now, right? And we don't even know which companies, which organizations are going to be around in 20 or 25 years from now, okay? But we are going to find out tonight, okay? So, thank you. Okay. So what is this? Do you have an idea about what is this? Anybody? No? This is a telescope, right? This is the telescope that Galileo invented in the 17th century, a lot of time ago. And what about this? What about this painting? What do you guys think about this? This painting is Saint Peter in the prison. This is one of the most famous paintings by Rembrandt. And at the same time, this is one of the most relevant paintings of one particular style, chiaroscuro. Okay? That was a style of painting in the Renaissance that put a special emphasis on lights and shadows, right? What about this? Does it sound familiar to you? This is the moon, yeah. Somebody was saying the moon. Yeah, that's right. This is the moon. But this is the moon drawn by Galileo in the 17th century. You know what? Not many people know, I didn't even know a couple of months ago that one of the main discoveries of Galileo was the mountains in the moon. And you know what? The amazing thing is that most scientists at the time of Galileo had access to the same technology as he had. But he discovered the mountains in the moon not only because he was a great scientist, but because he had mastered the technique of chiaroscuro. And because of that, he was able to see mountains where others were only able to see shadows. But now, let me tell you about my own story, okay? I have been for 15 years now in a business school. So I'm a business school guy, definitely, okay? And I came here tonight to talk about companies and organizations, to talk about business, okay? Sounds like boring, right? Yeah? We're going to talk about business. And you know why? I have been with CEOs and C-level, senior level executives from companies all around the world in the last few years. And even I have had the chance to teach to some of them. And do you know what wakes them at night? Do you know what they are concerned the most? They don't even know if they are going to survive in 5 or 10 years down the road. They don't know if their companies are going to survive, right? These are the lifespans of corporations, great companies, and of humans. At the same time that the lifespan of humans is going up in the last couple of decades, the lifespan of companies and corporations is dramatically falling down. Now let's do an experiment here, okay? Let's imagine that we are taking every single great company in the world, okay? We are taking every single of the most valuable companies in the world, those with the highest market capitalization, and we are going to put them across a line of the stages of life, okay? Now, this is a list of the year 2000, okay? Less than 2 decades ago. If we took those most valuable companies, all of them, or even probably most of them, would be retired, right? 80-year-old, 90-year-old, 100-year-old, 150-year-old companies. Probably one of them would be a working adult, probably one of them, Microsoft, would be just graduating from college. What does it look like if we look at this list in 2017? Do you see what is going on here? Most companies are still at school. Most of them, most of the great companies in the world these days are at school. They are young companies. Even some of them are preschoolers. Even some of them are still babies. So we have no idea about which companies are going to be around in the year 2030, where some of these kids are going to be looking for a new job. We don't know which companies are going to survive, right? There is only one pattern, one finding, one pattern we just found out by speaking to tens and hundreds of CEOs and by studying hundreds of companies from around the world. Just one pattern. The companies which are going to survive are those which disrupt themselves before others disrupt them. Companies which reinvent themselves the rules at their own home, right? And this is what all the great companies today are doing. This is what, believe it or not, in a company like Microsoft, this is what Satya Nadella, an unbelievable leadership, is doing at Microsoft these days, transforming this old company into a cloud company. This is what Sundar Pichai, the CEO at Google, is amazingly doing at this company, transforming Google into an artificial intelligence company, disrupting themselves in a way. Look at this amazing chart. This is an insane chart. This is the number of companies that Google has bought, has acquired in the last couple of years. More than 100 companies, and most of them are artificial intelligence companies. Each of these acquisitions is an opportunity for Google to disrupt itself and to keep learning. Or look at Uber, one of the baby or preschooler companies, we could say. Uber is already disrupting itself by putting a fleet of driverless cars in the streets of Pittsburgh and San Francisco these days. A company which probably 5 years old, disrupting itself already. Huh? So how to survive? How to disrupt yourself as a company and survive down the road and put the jobs of the future for our kids? There is only one way. Only one way. Companies and organizations have to become learn-it-all organizations. Have to be constantly learning. Companies and organizations had been used for centuries to be know-it-all companies and organizations, to know everything. This is useless these days. What counts is how you learn. Companies have to become learn-it-all organizations. And there is only one way you can really deploy that. Only one way. By resetting your operating system. You know what? This is not about your apps anymore. This is not about your apps anymore. For a company or an organization, this is not about being good at finance or being great at marketing or being great at the supply chain or logistics or whatever. It's not about this anymore, any longer. It's about how you reset the whole operating system, how you learn as a company. And the relevant message here is that this is the same thing that applies for our schools and for our kids. We have to teach them how they can update, how they can reset their own operating system, how they are going to be learning throughout their whole life. This is not about the apps anymore. It's not about if they speak English. It's not about if they learn how to code. It's how do we wire their operating system. Let me tell you about 3 ways that we can update and reset the operating system of our kids and ultimately of our organizations. The first way is that you want to buy the book of curiosity. And I'm speaking about curiosity with a Q, because it's about questions. It's not about answers any longer, right? Algorithms are going to bring answers for everything. So we want to teach our kids how they make great questions. The second one is that we want to teach them how to navigate across different disciplines, how to navigate across different silos in the organizations. This is what Galileo did, from science to arts, from astronomy to painting, right? And this is what we want to teach our kids, navigating these ambiguities, because algorithms will solve every challenge in our life as long as it is narrowly defined. But algorithms don't know how to get across different domains and different disciplines. And finally, it's about passion and it's about imagination, because this is the way with passion and imagination. This is how the kids of the future will see mountains where algorithms will only be able to see the shadows. And this is what it takes to be a moonshot thinker. This combination of passion, ingenuity, imagination, navigating across different disciplines. This is what it takes these days to be a moonshot thinker. Thank you very much.